Baltimore, the charmed city. A city of neighborhoods with 66 National Register historic districts and 33 local historic districts. I've lived a bit south of Baltimore for almost 20 years, but rarely ventured into the city except for specific events. But that's all about to change. Nearly one-third of the city's buildings are designated as historic in the National Register, more than any other U.S. city. Founded in 1729, there's so much history and culture in the Mid-Atlantic's second largest port city that to ignore this and not experience it and share those adventures would be a great opportunity lost. Follow along as we explore the historical and cultural gems of the city and get to know those neighborhoods that have bonded together to make this city what it is. A colorful mix of beauty, quirkiness, and blue-collar personality that makes it unique among U.S. cities. Come see where we're going today. The sport of roller derby has its origins in the bank-tracked skating marathons of the 1930s, and with it the pioneers of the sport, Leo Seltzer, who's the general idea guy behind the sport, and Damon Runyon, who was an author and newspaperman, and contributed to the more structured aspect of the sport and the idea of more contact. And these two are credited with evolving the sport into its competitive form. Professional roller derby quickly became extremely popular. In 1940, it drew more than 5 million spectators watching it in 50 American cities. However, in the ensuing decades, it became more of a spectator sport, more of a sport entertainment like wrestling, where the theatrical aspects of it overshadowed the athleticism and sporting aspect of it. Roller derby began its modern revival in Austin, Texas in the early 2000s as an all-female, women-organized amateur sport, and by August of 2006 there were over 135 similar leagues across the country. Although roller derby retains some sports entertainment aspects such as the player pseudonyms and the colorful uniforms, it's abandoned the scripted bouts and predetermined winners so that it's actually true competition, and people tend to enjoy the fact that there's some unknown outcome at the end. Our local derby teams belong to the Women's Flat Track Derby Association, which is a highly organized group with 459 member groups on 6 continents and a well-defined rule book to standardize their sport. We're going to cover some of the rules here, but if you take a look, this is just the list of the rules that go along with this. It's pretty extensive, and if you click on these, it's highly detailed as well. We're just going to cover some of the basics because that's all you really need to enjoy a visit, just to understand how things are progressing. Also, as I mentioned, there's a number of leagues internationally that are part of this association. One of which is our local league for Baltimore, the Charm City Roller Girls is how they're advertised on the association's site, but recently they have renamed themselves in order to demonstrate a more diverse outlook. So they are now the Charmed City Roller Derby, and they play out of a number of different venues around the area, but where we saw them was right up here at the Skateland rink in Eastern Dundalk. So it was the home base for the event we went to, which was the home team championship between the Hampton Huns and the Dundalk Deviants. And this is the event we went to. Let's just overlook a little bit of the rules really quickly so that as we are watching our highlights coming up here, we'll have a little bit of understanding of how things are going. So the roller derby games last for 60 minutes of play, broken into 2 halves with a halftime intermission in between them. The basic units of play are called jams, and they can last up to 2 minutes. And during these jams, a team must field 1 jammer and at most 4 blockers. The jammer is signified by having a star on their helmet, and they have these nice little stretchy helmet covers that they pass around to whoever the jammer is during one specific jam. Now, jammers score 1 point every time they lap an opposing player, blocker. And the points are grouped by trips through the pack. For example, 1 trip through the pack, when it ends, and the next begins when the jammer exits the front of the engagement zone where all the other players are. So once they pass completely through, they're starting their next cycle, and if they can lap them again, then they can score more points during that time frame. Now, this is all being done during a 2-minute period. However, if the jammer chooses, they can put their hands on their hips and they can halt play for that particular jam, and then the total is rung up, and then they start the next jam. So that's kind of the basic rules of how the scoring goes, and that's kind of what you really need to understand to start with. As I noted a minute ago, there's a lot of very specific rules about how this is played, so you have to, if you really want to dig deep, you can do it there and, understand it better. But for just a visit and a passing interest in the game, they play on that oval track. They have a specific way of setting up to start. They have particular ways of scoring, which I have described, and that's it. And just, it's a good time to go. It costs less than a movie ticket, and it's just something different to do and a little activity, and appreciate somebody else's effort for trying to renew interest in a revitalized sporting event. As I mentioned before, our event tonight is the home team championship for Baltimore between the Hampton Huns and the Dundalk Deviants, and come along and join us for that and see what you think of these highlights. Maybe you'll want to go out and see them for yourself. It was definitely a fun time. Alright, so we are at Skateland here in Dundalk, getting ready to watch the Charles City Roller Derby, and we're going to have a little bit of fun here and enjoy the show. This is a small hometown-y kind of thing that goes on, so it's not highly supported. If you get a chance to come out and support these girls and show them a little bit of love, and I think you'll have a good time. We're expecting to have a good time, so we'll touch base with you afterwards. Maybe there'll be some commentary in between. All right, so tonight's event is with the Hampton Huns and the Dundalk Deviants. These are two teams. Often the participants cross teams, especially if they do like all-stars, whatever. They train together, they work out together, so it's not like they don't know each other, but Hampton and Dundalk are two very different parts of the city that they're representing, so hopefully we'll have some fun. Getting ready to start here soon, I believe. Alright, so we have Hampton in gold, and Dundalk will be in the black tonight, so give you a bit of a color coding there.
final score, Dundalk Deviants are the Charlotte City Roller Derby 2019 champions.
And there you have it. Congratulations to the Dundalk Deviants for winning the 2019 home championship derby. It was a very fun event. Seriously, if you get a chance to go out and check these ladies out, they have a great time. They work really hard, and it looks like they have a lot of fun. I wouldn't get out there; I'd break a hip, but it looks like it would be fun for much younger me. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. We have a Halloween special coming up here pretty soon that we hope will be interesting, and we'll be sharing that here at the end of the month. In the meantime, hope all is well with you, and come on back soon, will you? We'll see you later.